So working with double pointed needles can be a little intimidating, but really it's just practice, getting used to holding them and manipulating them. So I'm just going to show you how to do that today. Double pointed needles come in packs of normally 5 or 6, so you'll be working with maybe 4 of them and using the 5th one for doing the actual knitting. So depending on how many stitches you are casting on, you can cast on directly onto one of the double pointed needles, or if you've got quite a few stitches, then just use a normal straight needle or a circular or whatever you've got for that. So in this example, I'm going to begin by casting on 32 stitches, and just use your normal preferred method. I'm going to do a long tail cast on, and I'm going to do it straight onto this straight needle. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So just keep going until you've got the right number of stitches. So once you've cast on, the next step is to distribute your stitches as evenly as possible over your 3 or 4 double pointed needles. So it doesn't have to be exact, and you can either use 3 or 4. So if you're using 3, then you would be working in a sort of triangle shape, and it can be a little bit more difficult because the angles are tighter for you to get your hands in. So I find it easy to use 4, so you've got like a square shape. So I'm going to distribute mine over 4, so that will be 8 on each needle. So just take your stitches from your needle tip, and you're just passing them over, you're not twisting them or anything, just make sure you transfer them over straight. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so now I'm just going to slide those onto the middle of this needle just to make sure they don't slip off. Hold that to the back and pick up my next needle and transfer the next 8 on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again, slide them onto the middle so they don't come off. Next one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Slide it on, and the last one. Transfer these 8 on. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. There we go. So I can get rid of this straight needle now. Okay, so now you need to be careful that none of these are twisted. So by that I mean that the cast on edge isn't like flipped over. So you want all the little back bumps all lined up. Neatly like this to make sure that it's not twisted. Okay, so now I'm going to hold these and just flip them over to the right side. You might already be on the right side. So take my yarns and just pull them to the back. Okay, now there's different ways to do this. If you want to join in the round by adding an extra stitch and slipping that over, which I have done in my previous video about working in the round, then you can do that. But for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to start knitting. Now you could just start knitting with your spare needle, but because you are joining the gap, it might be difficult to get a nice tight close on the joint. So what I would do is take my working yarn, and I'm going to start knitting directly with this needle. Now okay, so I'm just going to pop a stitch marker on there. If you'd prefer, you can use one of the safety pin style ones and just fasten it onto the first stitch there. Okay, so we've got our working yarn held to the back, and we're going to just knit into that first stitch there. Okay, don't worry about the other needles sort of waggling around. Just make sure that the stitches are sort of in the middle so they're not going to fall off. And this first stitch, because we're joining in the round, we're going to try and pull that quite tight. So we're just going to knit that, try and pull that quite tight. Just knit the next one. And then we're going to pick up our empty needle, and we're going to start knitting with our empty needle. Okay, so you can see I've got this needle, which is the one that I've just finished using, and it's easier if this one sits on the top here, just loosely on the top. And you can see already it looks very fiddly, but as long as you just concentrate on the two needles that you're working with at the time, you can just let the other ones do what they want. Okay, so I've worked to the end of this needle. So now I've got a new empty needle. And because I knitted 2 stitches onto this needle without switching to a plain one at the beginning, when I was joining in the round, I'm going to knit the next 2 stitches. I'm going to continue with the needle that I was using and knit 2 on the next needle before I introduce the empty one. Okay, so now I pick up my empty needle. Again, just let the other needles sit above and just let them move around. Just make sure that the stitches are not right near the edge. So I'm going into my next stitch and just knit along. Now sometimes, yeah, you can use your thumb to pull this needle out of the way if it's sort of interfering with what it is you're doing. Okay, so I'm at the end of that needle, so again I'm going to knit a couple of stitches and then introduce my empty needle. And again, I'm just making sure the stitches are kind of in the middle and just letting this one that I've just finished with, just let it hang loose. And I'm kind of knitting behind it, you can see there. And I'm nearly back round to the beginning. Okay, so slip our stitch marker, and we want to knit that first stitch again back to the beginning of the round. Just make sure that you pull it tight. Knit the second stitch and just make sure that you pull that one quite tight as well. Now we've finished that first round, you can see everything's sitting a bit sort of easier and a bit neater. So I'm currently working with this needle and this one. So the other two are sat quite happily behind, out of the way. Now I could introduce the empty needle at this stage because every needle has got the 8 stitches on. But if you keep the gap in the same place each time, so if I introduce an empty needle at this point in every round, you might find that you get ladders forming in these points here because the stitches aren't pulled tight enough across. So one good little tip that you can do is on each round or every other round, instead of introducing the empty needle when you've got to the end of one needle, so until you've got the end of this sort of row, is to knit an extra 1 or 2 stitches with your current needle. So this is my current one here with the working yarn. So I'm going to work a couple of stitches with this needle before I introduce the empty one. And so every needle afterwards, I will knit 2 stitches with the working needle before introducing the empty one. So now everyone's different with how they like to work and hold their double pointed needles, but when we're starting with the empty one and we want to join it across, I think you get a tighter join if your working needle that you've just finished with is on the top, so that you can wrap this round and then really give that a real tug to pull that quite tight. Okay, pull that tight. Now it's up to you whether you leave these needles to hang over the front or whether you want to move the needle to the back out of the way. It does feel a little fiddly at first having so many needles, but I think the secret is just to find the technique that suits you, whether you like to push them to the back when you finish with them, let them hang to the front. I think the thing is though, don't worry about them too much. As long as the needles are pushed on, just let them hang where they want to go. As long as you've got hold of the 2 needles that you're working with at the time, you can use your other fingers to push them out of the way, or just as long as you're comfortable. I like to just let mine hang over the top, and that's fine for me, but that might not work for everybody. So you can see as you work along, they kind of move out of the way on their own anyway. So I've separated these quite evenly, so they've all got 8 stitches on. Obviously if you're working something that has increases in, the number of stitches on each needle will change. They don't have to be exactly the same, as long as they're not more than a few stitches difference on each one, then that should be fine. You just don't want only 3 stitches on one and 5, 10 on another, as it will sort of distort it and pull it a little bit out of shape. So just carry on working round and just keep practicing and see what you find the most comfortable. So I always find this needle here sits nice and comfortably in my hand between my thumb and sort of pointer finger here, just to sort of keep it out of the way. But like I say, as long as your stitches are pushed on, don't worry too much about what the other needles are doing. Just let them move around on their own. The stitches aren't going to fall off as long as they're pushed nicely onto the middle. And especially if you're using wooden needles, they tend to be a little bit more grippy. So I'm starting with my empty needle, so I'm just going to give that a little bit of a pull for the first 2 stitches. There we go. And just keep working around. Now if you find double pointed needles a little too fiddly and a little tricky, there are other options. you can buy very small circular needles. So these are only 20 centimeters long. So they are great for socks and sleeves and things like that. If you're doing hats, when you're decreasing for the crown, these are very handy, but as you get right to the end and you've only got sort of 8 stitches, you will need to switch to double pointed. So even if you prefer to use the circular minis most of the time, it's still a really good skill to learn the double pointed needles, because they will come in handy at certain times. There's also the magic loop, which uses an extra long cable that will just be folded, and you just work back and forth over 2 sets of stitches. So if you want to have a look at our tutorials for that, and just find out the way that best suits you. There's no right or wrong way, it's just whatever suits you.